Hi everyone. I wanted to pop on here and just give you some information because it's the easiest instead of writing long emails or doing multiple remind messages. But I wanted to thank everybody for how understanding you've been this whole past week, really, with my son being sick and then me getting what he had. It's obviously been not an easy week in my household. Obviously, when you have these symptoms, the first thing that pops in your head is COVID. We really haven't been anywhere. I even get my groceries delivered. But with my son in daycare, that's always the worry. So, not having that extra stress of worrying about having other people mad at me was so amazing. And I want to thank you for that. Looking forward in this week on Wednesday, so tomorrow, we will be having our first math assessment. And I'm hoping it goes smoothly. What you can do to prepare for the math assessment is make sure you know how to get onto Savas Realize, or on Clever it's called Pearson Realize, because that's where the test will be. So I will still start the math Zoom and I'll just sit on the math Zoom for the entire math time, so that if you have questions or you're stuck and you can't figure it out, you can hop on the math Zoom and have me right there to help you and not have to be texting. And um, we can I can show you face to face how to get on there and troubleshoot what's going on. But it's so important that you know how to get onto Savas Realize, because that's going to be how we take our math assessments for the remainder of the year. And that's how we're going to do all the brain checks that we've been doing. And I've seen that about half of us have gotten on Savas Realize. So I'm really hoping the other half um, can try it out today or tomorrow morning before we have our math Zoom at 12:30, which is when um, we'll do the math assessment. This year, there'll be 3 different ways that we do assessments during our e-learning time. Obviously, if we're back in the classroom later, you don't have to worry about any of this. But the 3 different ways will be either one-on-one. So reading assessments, they're going to be one-on-one, like I've been scheduling testing ABCs with your student. So one-on-one is the first way. The second way will be kind of how we do it tomorrow, where I will be on Zoom and your student will take the assessment at home. And if you need me, I'm there for you. The third way is when we do any of the district tests, like our iReady test that will be coming up at the end of the month. Those tests, I have to watch your student take the test. So I can have 6 students on Zoom at a time. And what you'll do is you'll simply have Zoom open, but you'll minimize it so the camera will still be on. I'll be able to watch and make sure that your student is taking the test, and then you'll have the test open on your laptop screen, but I will be able to see all 6 students taking the test. So the camera will be on, the mute will be off. I will mute myself and I will turn my camera off. So it's just me making sure that everything's good. Um, that's the third way that we will be taking tests. So that's just for district tests. And it will be 6 students at a time. So on those test days, we'll have a testing schedule. And that will go out via email multiple days before it happens, so you can prepare for what those school days will look like. I don't want your child to be testing for a long period of time, because They're going to get antsy. They're going to start becoming click monsters where they just click because they want to be done. So it'll be shorter windows, and then they'll have 2 testing windows throughout the day. And it may take a couple days to get that test done. But that's just so that they do their best. Because especially as a kindergartner, it's hard to sit still for even a 25-minute Zoom. By the end of our 25-minute Zoom classes, some of us are ready to get up and move and do something. So it'll be shorter periods of time, 25-minute testing periods. And then whether or not they're done, we're going to end that testing time so they can go, and I'll have activities planned that they can do for brain breaks that day. The other thing is, because I have had a fever for the past 4 days, actually 5 days. So I started to feel sick Thursday last week, fever Friday, all weekend long, and then finally last night my fever stopped. But because of that, and because of the symptoms that I was having, I wasn't allowed on campus. So for those of you who still need buckets of supplies, it's been a hot mess with the buckets, because what's happening is I've had students join our class, go to school, get the bucket, and then decide to do brick and mortar. So they still have the bucket, but then the students that join late and then are doing e-learning need that bucket. So I've had to make many buckets. So if you still are in need of that bucket, I can finally go back to campus and be on campus. Otherwise, the nurse wouldn't have let me come on campus, because they take our temperature and they do symptom checks before we enter the office. So if you need that, please text me or email me so I know how many buckets I still need to make. And then I can have them up in the office and there's no confusion. Because I want your child to have the supplies that they need. All right, I'm checking my list and I think I've gone over everything. I will be back to normal tomorrow. So tomorrow we will have all of the Zooms. Reading Zoom 9 a.m. Math Zoom, I will be on there at 12:30 if you need me. But if you know how to get onto Savas Realize for our math time, just go ahead and start the assessment. When the assessment is done, you're good to go. I will be able to see the results on my end, and that will help me know who's got it and then who needs extra practice, either on ABC Mouse or iReady. And then I'll be doing those one-on-one reading assessments to finish those up this week, because next week we'll be starting small groups. So after I finish up the assessments tomorrow, I'll send out an email with your small group time, because the goal is to be in small group once a week so that they get that individualized instruction from me. Alrighty, sorry for the long lesson or the long recording, but this was just much easier than sending out an email. All right.